Have you ever asked your parents or grandparents what they paid for their first car or their first house and felt like they were living in a different universe? That's not nostalgia talking. That's inflation. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your money buys less every single year and what you can actually do about it. What is inflation, really? Inflation is the gradual increase in the prices of goods and services over time, which means each rupee you own buys a little less than before. Imagine a pizza, cut into 8 slices. 8 friends arrive. Everyone gets one full slice. Perfect. But then, 16 people show up. The pizza doesn't get bigger. Now everyone gets a smaller slice. That's inflation. Wait, it's not always inflation. For example, egg price 60 rupees to 120 rupees. Why? Because of bird flu/bad harvest. It's just one item becoming expensive. Inflation happens when many things get expensive together across the economy. Food, transport, rent, fuel, clothes. So, how do governments track this? They use something called CPI, Consumer Price Index. It tracks the price changes of a basket of everyday goods and services: milk, bread, electricity, fuel, rent, transport, healthcare, clothes. When the overall cost of this basket goes up, that's how we measure inflation. Now that we know what it is, let's see why it happens. What causes inflation? Let's break down what actually causes inflation. There are 3 main drivers. Let's talk about demand-pull inflation. And this sneaker drop is the perfect example. Limited edition sneaker drop. Only 1,000 pairs of this sneaker are available. But look at this. 50,000 people want to buy them. That's 50 times more buyers than there are sneakers. When way more people want something than there is supply of it, that creates massive pressure on the price. Price shoots up. So what happens? The retail price starts at $100, but because demand is so much higher than supply, people start reselling it, and the price shoots up to $500. Same sneaker, same shoebox. Nothing about the product changed. The only thing that changed was how many people wanted it versus how many were actually available. That's demand-pull inflation in a nutshell. Too many buyers, not enough stuff to go around, so prices get pulled upward. Concert tickets sold out. And the same thing happens with concert tickets. A popular artist announces a show. There's a stadium full of seats, but way more fans want in than there are seats available. Tickets sell out almost instantly, and the venue's packed, everyone hyped, everyone trying to get in. So what happens to the price? Just like the sneakers, it spikes. Resale tickets can go for 2, 3, sometimes 10 times the original price, all because demand blew past supply. Sneakers, concert tickets, different products, same pattern. That's demand-pull inflation. When too many buyers are chasing too little supply, prices get pulled up. The second driver is cost-push inflation. This happens when the cost of making or delivering something goes up, and businesses pass that cost on to you. Gas price board. Now let's look at the second driver. Cost-push inflation. Say gas prices spike. $3.20, then $3.80, then $4.60. Gas is going up fast. Delivery truck. That doesn't just affect drivers filling up their tanks. Suddenly, it costs more to truck flour and cheese to your local pizza place, too. Every delivery, every ingredient coming in, now costs more to move. Menu price increase. So what does the pizza place do? The price on the menu goes up anyway, just to cover that higher delivery cost. A large pizza that was $12 is now $15. But here's the thing. Nothing about the pizza itself changed. Same dough, same cheese, same toppings, same box. The only thing that changed was how much it cost to get the ingredients there in the first place. That's cost-push inflation. When the cost of making or delivering something goes up, businesses pass that cost straight on to you. The third driver is what's called a wage price spiral. It's a cycle that keeps inflation going. Workers ask for a raise. Say workers get a raise so they can keep up with rising rent. We need a raise, they tell their boss. Store pays them more. The store agrees. But now the store has to pay them more out of its own pocket. Prices go up. So what does the store do to cover that extra cost? It raises its prices. Groceries, milk, everyday items. Prices go up across the board. Rent and groceries feel expensive. Again. Except now. Rent and groceries feel expensive again. The raise that was supposed to help doesn't stretch as far because prices caught up with it. Workers ask for another raise. So workers ask for another raise. We need another raise, the sign says. The cycle repeats. Wages go up, prices go up, and repeat. That's the wage price spiral, a cycle where rising pay and rising prices keep chasing each other over and over. Who controls inflation? So who is actually in charge of keeping inflation in check? That job mostly falls to central banks, like the Federal Reserve in the U.S. Their main tool is interest rates. Think of it like a stove. If the economy is overheating, prices rising too fast, the central bank turns up interest rates. Borrowing more expensive, people spend less. Inflation cools down. If the economy is too cold, prices barely moving or falling, the central bank turns down interest rates. Low interest rates. Borrowing money cheaper. People borrow and spend more. Economy warms up again. Most central banks aim for a small, steady inflation rate, usually around 2% a year, because a little bit of inflation is actually considered healthy for growing economy. So, prices rise slowly, businesses invest, jobs grow, then economy grows. How it all works? Central bank monitors inflation, adjusts interest rates, then affects borrowing and spending. So, inflation stays in check. That's how central banks use interest rates to keep inflation under control. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right.